Good morning. It's October 31st. Happy Halloween to everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask the Superintendent. I do have 3 questions this week, but first let me say welcome from Richmond. If you don't recognize the background, I'm actually in a hotel room. Had the opportunity Monday and Tuesday of this week of attending the Virginia Association of School Superintendents Conference, and we're going to hear from Governor Youngkin and the Secretary of Education, and all kinds of amazing instrumental people in Virginia that have a lot to do with public education. So I'm so excited to hear what they have to say and what direction public education is going in Virginia. So if you were hoping to tune in and see what snacks I had in my desk up over my left-hand side, I'm sorry, this episode's not going to get you what you need. But I will be here to answer your questions. So question number 1 this week was kids fighting in the bathrooms at King George High School, and what can we do about it? Number 1, thank you for the question, because the first thing we can do about it is to let us know and make sure that we're aware. 1,500 kids in the school and many people doing many great things at the high school, but any information you can give us that you think is a safety concern or one that needs to be brought to our attention immediately is certainly step 1 in the process. I can tell you I've been by the high school pretty much every day or every other day. Right now, they have pretty good watch on the bathrooms, but we're not in the bathrooms 100% of the time. We've got staff members that take a look at the bathrooms periodically throughout the day. We've got actually a new camera system in the high school that's becoming operational. There's not cameras in the bathroom, but right outside the bathroom doors, so we have a pretty good idea of who's coming and who's going from the bathrooms. There is actually going to be these new air quality sensors in the bathrooms. If anyone was concerned about something that we're concerned about in society altogether is really the vaping epidemic. So we're trying to make steps technologically to move in the right direction to ensure safety. But making us aware and letting us know is certainly something that I'll relay to school administration. And we'll continue to make sure we monitor the bathrooms as much as we possibly can, both in between transition times and periodically throughout the instructional period. So thank you for that information, and we'll certainly do what we can to address those concerns. The next question is, we've heard that there are not many field trips this year due to the rising cost of charter buses. This is a concern as a parent, as field trips are a huge part of the learning experience in school as well as the overall experience. Absolutely understand. The point goes on to say that many of our students that have been affected by, all of our students who have been affected by the pandemic have lost a lot of educational opportunities both in the building but also outside of the school building through the field trip experience. So I'll tell you right now that we are back. We are moving our way back towards being able to have field trips across the school division. The parameter right now that's really difficult to work our way around is the shortage we have in bus drivers. So maybe that's why you're hearing things like the cost of charter buses. Right now, we don't have enough bus drivers in the school division. So what that means is, in order for us to take care of our primary responsibility, number 1 responsibility is getting students to and from school. We have to limit the time that we can provide transportation for field trips between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. If the field trip can occur within there, we have bus drivers, we have buses, and then we can get back to school in order to take care of our primary responsibility of transporting students to school. So that's the concern. Anybody that's interested in being a bus driver, I certainly know that process at this point, and we would certainly take you if you're willing to come in. So right now, there is no moratorium on field trips. Field trips are possible. That goes across the school division. So teachers, if you're interested, please see what you need to do to get that done and work through your school administration to see if it's even possible. But if you can work through those hurdles, field trips are possible. We're just trying to work out the transportation issue, which is the parameter that's the most difficult one to satisfy, not only in King George right now, but really across the state and across the country when it comes to the shortage that we're having with bus drivers. Final question is, while listening to the 1024 school board meeting, I'll paraphrase here, but there were some comments that this particular individual didn't agree with that were being said. So This question is a pickle of sorts. I see what you're doing here. What I would say about this is that all of those school board members are elected by their representative communities, and so each of them speaks on behalf of their community, and everyone that lives in those communities also has that opportunity to vote for a representative that they think would support their viewpoints. Now, I'll say this, which is probably more important to the point, is I've oftentimes asked myself in this acting role that I'm sitting in right now, is why am I here? What is my responsibility? What am I being called to do? And I sincerely believe in my heart that, number one, the role of the superintendent is and always will be apolitical. You're not going to hear me weigh in one way or another on a political issue. We live in a very divisive world right now. It's not just in public education. It's every time you turn the television on, particularly in this election season. As soon as you turn the television on, you're hearing how everyone should feel about a particular issue and what side of the fence we should be on. So it's a very divisive time. I totally understand that. But I see my role as superintendent of being apolitical, not picking a side, because honestly, our responsibility is, no matter what side of the fence you're setting on, is to provide a quality education to our children. There's two issues right now that I think are so important in public education that outside of the issues that we need to deal with, these two are the most important. And number one is making sure that we make up the learning loss that our students experienced through the pandemic. That is the issue that we could focus all of our time on and still feel like there's more to do. Number two, and these are not in any particular order, but we are experiencing a teacher shortage in King George County, in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and in our country. So we are struggling right now to staff our classrooms so that we can provide a quality education for students who have experienced a learning loss. Those two issues alone, I think, could occupy all of our time and all of our focus. So as superintendent or acting superintendent, I think it's important for us to focus on that. And like I said, even if we put 100% of our attention into those issues, we're still going to feel like we're coming up short, but it is the work that we need to do. So again, that's kind of a roundabout answer. That's the best answer I can give. I can tell you that our work and our focus, as I've hoped you've seen in our school board meetings and throughout the school division, is one where we're focused laser-like on students and the staff that we need to get the job done. So that's how we'll continue to move forward, I hope, most certainly in that vein. Thank you guys for your questions this week. I'm looking forward to making sure that I can absorb as much information as I can from the state level in the next 2 days. I'll be back in the division on Wednesday, and hopefully with a lot of good information about the state of public education and the direction that we're moving towards in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So thank you guys so much. Continue to push questions out. Everybody have an amazing holiday. It is Halloween, and it's the beginning of the holiday season. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Our winter break's right around the corner. Christmas is right around the corner. Things are going to be moving quickly, and that's the end of the first semester. So thank you guys. Keep the questions coming in. The last thing I'll say is our volleyball team at King George High School won districts last week. Our football team is still undefeated. If you haven't had a chance to come out and see either one of those teams compete, they are still competing and working their way through towards regional and state competition. So please come out and support your Foxes. So thank you guys so much, and keep the questions coming in. Have a great day.